Yo, it's ODB, our lifestyle podcast, and this is issue 84 of Mini Truckin Magazine, December 98. Kal Koncepts laced Nissan Hardbody. It's a classic. There's a lot to talk about here. It is the first issue, which was hinted last month with the stamp and custom compacts. They've got a truckload of Jensen audio sweepstakes that they're giving away and custom painting step by step. We've got some shows in here, including Showfest, Carlisle, Battle of the Imports, Southeast Mini Truckin Nats, and Spring Sound Off 98. This was a Forever Low truck. This is their one of two covers for their club. The other one was Tony Mallard's, I think, 96S10, February 01 issue. That's issue 110. Clint Walker and Courtney shoot this one, according to the credits. It's the second credited cover by Clint Walker. The first was April 98, of course. So we've got the Vitek ad. You got the minis there, you can see, about 5 features. Tech, events, Showfest 98. And there's the volume and number. We don't really talk about this. Of course, this is rounding out 1998 for the December issue. There is, on page 90, Follow the Leader. And then you have Nissan Owners Rejoice. Chris, Wattier, Wattier, presents his prime example of what a cover truck photography. Clint Walker, model Tabitha. So we'll look and see. I'm pretty sure Courtney's name was tied to it in the actual feature, which I've kind of talked about that in the past. The verdict is in. In last month's issue, we posed a question to every mini truck enthusiast on the planet. Should we include custom compacts in the magazine? And you can freeze frame if you need to. Screenshot away. And obviously we know what the verdict is. Rest in peace, Courtney Halliwell. Godfather Customs. So these ads ran, as you can see, they don't really change too often. In the mix, so Lance Martz shoots this one. And this is Rob Gillian's 93 Standard Cab. Dope graphics, clean engine bay, a little bit different bed treatment there with the angled pieces and the Toyota logo. If you like what we're doing here, leave a comment, subscribe, share it with the homies. Who remembers this one? It's got to be one of the longest mini trucks. That Mazda, though. There's a couple of those, right? So here you got Mini Market. Here's Budnick Wave 2s. And when Western Chassis was doing it up with the lower control arms. There was one company, pretty certain it was not them. Was it DJM maybe? They had an issue with their lower control arms, and they would break. And there's a guy that I know in the Lincoln world. He has a really badass F100, I think, and the thing it sustained a lot of damage. And he said one of the control arms broke. And somebody said, yeah, that was a big issue with said control arm company. I forget. I don't want to say specifically. It might have been DJM. I don't remember. If anyone remembers that, let me know in the comments. Kind of popped in my head. Sound deadening, Dyna Shield. It's crazy how Dynamat is really the name that we all know. It's almost like saying, you know, can you pass me a Kleenex? Dynamat is kind of the standard term. Skinned Alive. So here Lance links up with Steve Nielsen. We've had Steve Nielsen on, and this was his truck. And I would, for a while in my brain, I would get the name Skinned Alive and Twisted Metal mixed up. I know they are different trucks, but I have to sometimes pause and go, wait, that's the right one. You can see here the Alter Images logo. Steve, been around a long time, and we're thankful for him. He documented a lot of stuff with photos, but he also, if you guys don't know, he sent out VHS tapes to some of his customers back in the day, and that was pretty cool. I still have the VHS tape that's been flipped to digital, and there's a lot of gold content on there, because back in those days, even before Street Source, there wasn't a lot of like photo sharing and things like that. So to see a video of some of the trucks coming out of the West, including some of the shows that they would attend, it was pretty cool. The name is Wyatt Strange. Wyatt Strange kind of reminds me of Hank from Hammered Weekend Wear, the crazy one. Here's Carlisle 98. Remember seeing this photo in the mag. Super clean Yoda. Always nice trucks here. I know Johnny Garage Johnson, he loves going out to Carlisle. That dime looks like a shaved body line, right? Some pretty cool colors here. And then boom, look at that. Is this the truck I'm thinking of? Tony's? I'm trying to think. Badass. Some cool trucks. But yeah, definitely, if you like what we're doing here, again, leave a comment if you can. Check out our Lifestyle Podcast via any podcast app. Just search OLP. So you got the Jensen giveaway again. Maybe not the craziest system, but hey, it was free and it was good advertising for them. Sure, if I won, I would have taken it. Here, you get the little Christmas spirit going on there. This is another issue that I have with a tag. I do have, I think I have two issues of these, but the one I'm using kind of came right out of the binder. Here was this famous Sonoma. It's still around, my understanding. I used to really spend a lot of time looking at this truck. I always thought it was cool because I had the same basically setup. Mine did not have the Dumbo ears, I call them. I liked these mirrors way better than what I had, but I had the same topper, accordion boot, and this thing was a lot lower than mine for a while. Would see that thing in show coverage or even online at some of the websites that were actually uploading things, and it was pretty cool. Paint Your Wagon 101. This is the Hack Shack Painting School. Chris Fessler. Battle of the Imports. So again, kind of keeping with the theme we've seen over the last year or so of attending some of these shows. Kind of the rare Odyssey van. Not many of those were ever in the mag. And then you have an S10. Wait, I thought it was Battle of the Imports. Looking dope with a nice billet wheel. Super clean, chrome grille. You don't see those too often. Here you have thousands of mini truckers raid Pigeon Forge at Southeast Mini Truckin Nats. So we recently had LMC from Lowest Common Denominator on, and he kind of talked about being almost like a little historian of this show. He can rattle off some of the stuff. There's that famous, I think that was Slammed Impressions. I remember seeing that. I believe that was the one I saw at Nopi. And see some of the trucks here, Lenny's. Mini Truck Bat on Instagram. I know he's been doing some cool content. A little bit different than what other guys have been doing. He's been talking about specific trucks, and he was talking about Lenny's and how that was his favorite version. Here's the Isuzu again. We'd see this a good bit in show coverage. And then this, was that Ryan's Mazda? Ryan Cochran's? You could see how clean that setup was. That was about the era that I think it was redone. And was killing it. There's the Sonoma again. You could tell some of the guys that would go to all the shows, they'd be in the different show coverage. Here is Herb's S10. My understanding was he was trying to find that a couple years ago. I think, yeah, based upon the seats, I believe that's Herb's. He was looking for that thing like many people were looking for their old trucks. Here's the car we saw, I believe, in Table of Contents. There's the Mazda with the side tilt hood and Trucks Rosa kit. Pretty crazy. Here you go. The truck, somebody mentioned we should get him on. The guy that painted it. This was always wild, seeing the amps above. Good use of space, I guess you could say. And this was Kurt. I don't know if this guy's still around, but his truck definitely was one that many of us, I'm sure, remember. Crossmember's Dream and Notorious Rod Ohlweiler finishes his ride. And again, it's hard for me to rattle off all of these. This is probably the truck that we saw a minute ago that I was getting confused with another one. And you can see there, Exclusive Styles, I believe it was, that famous logo kind of etched in my mind. I remember seeing that a good bit. Down Low. These things are super low trucks. And it's hard for me to rattle off all those Rangers. Here's Peer Pressure. It's an amazing what your friends can talk you into doing. And again, you can see here, photography, Courtney Hollowell and Clint Walker, although Clint did get the credit in the table of contents. This is another truck that I think was pretty cool because it was sold, and I believe it went to New Jersey, and around Spring Fling 2000, it came to Florida. So I think it might have been the first Kal Koncepts paint I saw other than Last Look, which we then saw at Nopi. One of those trucks that kind of went across the country. Here, just a super clean setup, very similar to the other one maybe a year ago. I talked about a badass Nissan that had a box where the speakers were up higher. But just, I'm a big fan of these kind of boxes, only, mostly I'm just saying for the looks. Pretty cool to see the use of some Lexan or glass or whatever they're using. And just, aesthetically nice with some tweed. And then you've got the tie-in right there to the paint in those little panels. So this truck, like I said, was Chris Wattier from Phoenix AZ. And we also saw this at Scraping the Coast. And ironically enough, today, Mini Truck Hall of Fame 2022, Scraping the Coast is getting in for the show. Rest in peace, Greg Miller. We saw this, I last saw it 2 years ago, maybe. And it looks just as good as the day it was painted, in my opinion. You can see the Kal Koncepts logo right there. Tons of colors. Of course, that was a collaboration, K-Daddy, Dion, and Craig. We've had all three of those guys on, and ironically enough, K-Daddy is getting inducted in for Painter also today at the time of this recording. This is going to post the next day, so for those scoring at home, today's 10/31/2022. Halloween. Happy Halloween. You can see the Forever Low logo there. Again, they had two covers, this one and April 90. What was the other one? April 98, I think it was. Big fan of the interior on this one. Super clean. I like the colors. Nothing overly done. Door panels, though, you see the bottom kind of right in here again. You didn't see a lot of that. You saw guys leave door panels and kind of wrap them, and hey, that was fine. But these guys went the extra mile. Kind of a real nice show truck here. And the one thing I'll have to say is, sometimes people kind of get frustrated that these trucks don't get shown. But one good thing about if a truck is taken care of and it's put up, so to speak, whether it be 10 or 20 years, I'm appreciative. I'd rather someone put it up and not do much with it, maybe start it here and there, versus, dogging the thing out or giving it to someone that doesn't appreciate it. Because this truck, although I can't rattle off the specific details when the person bought it, that isn't assorted, I think he still owns it. The truck looked as good as it did when I saw it 20 years prior. I think when I posted it, I even figured out the amount of days it had been between, and it was literally like 20 years. And the thing still looked fantastic. So, you can't knock someone for, a truck that maybe goes into hiding because they come back and they're just as cool to me to see 20 years later, sometimes even cooler. So yeah, and you can see this feature was no joke. They spent a lot of pages on it, and it's too bad that they're not all in color, but it is what it is. The time, you can see there Kal Koncepts applied the graphics, and featuring textures like water and reptile scales. Just truly an awesome truck to see in person. So cool stuff there. Here you have tuck in hard, tough to top S styling. So I always kind of thought this was a unique truck for a couple reasons. One, it's a Sonoma, at least with the grill, it's a 95. You have this valence a little bit different. I don't remember seeing those. It's, of course, laid out. So it's kind of a perfect, you know, bone laying frame. Then it also had this little spoiler deal on the back, which you rarely ever saw. And you can see a better image of it here. I always thought it looked good with the clear glass, the roll pan, the flipped handle on the back. And the tweed color was a little bit different. I have a blue tweed that looks like this, but it's blue, but it kind of has the pepper, you know, gray into it, I guess, a little bit. I don't know what it's officially called. But this one looks damn good with the billet over the gauges. And being that it's a floor shift, you don't have the shifter up there. This one has Billet Specialty wheels. And just a cool truck. Purple. Sonoma, something a little bit different. The custom shop in Flanagan, Illinois. Again, we've seen their name. We'll see it again in this magazine. It is the V6, an Edelbrock catback exhaust, 4.3 V6. So even with the, you know, shifter in there, you know, it was a V6, but it wasn't anything too crazy. You can see here the rear end tucking, kind of ties into the name, and that valence. So pretty cool. Clean truck. There's Vitek, so boom, you get a tech article. Again, they're going to want to do that and cater to the sponsors a little bit. Advertisers, rather. Over the top, so fiberglass tonneau. Those tonneau covers are getting harder to find. I wish you could get toppers made for the old Minis, but my understanding is you can't. So here's Xtreme Lowz Spring Sound Off. So for those that don't know, Xtreme Lowz have been around a long time, and check this out. You even get Ryan Fringlinghaus's 4Runner Fast Bags. Again, that's a great throwback. Just a great throwback. Okay, this is the truck I think I just remembered. This is the truck, I think, that has the sticker on the back. Here it says, please do not touch. That says, don't laugh, your daughter could be inside. I think it's that one. And I don't think, I know I've said that a couple times on the podcast and here. I don't take that as a bad thing. I took it as like, you know, as a teenager or a young adult, you got this truck, you know, and some old guy's laughing at your truck, and, you know, your daughter thinks it's cool. You know, that's the way I took it. I didn't take it as a, you know, like your daughter can be in the back of this thing, you know, that way. So I want to clarify that. Here's a very cool shot, although it's a small shot. I'll take it. Just those colors, man. The ombre. I do have a date set with Gendro, so fingers crossed. Here you have the Tacoma, which we recently saw. There's Ryan with 1 and 2. Check this out with the hydros. Those Colorado Custom Valdez wheels, like I called out when we did that, just really look good. And it ties in perfectly, kind of that lowrider theme, I guess, a little bit. You know, although it's a billet wheel, I just think like it looked good to tie in and kind of spin it as a lowrider deal. Here you got the Phantom grill. And my truck did not have, but there on that bumper, I think that was the factory, I don't want to say trim, what am I thinking? Molding. So there you go. You got another one of these guys. And then boom, one of the all-time greats. When I went in 2000, I have a photo of Bill Carlton driving the his famous 88 to 98 in front of this with 16s on it. This is where the DJ would stand, and that was the famous assorted miniatures. I wonder if they still have that anywhere. If you guys know, let me know. And this, again, was a couple years before I had went. And this was quickly becoming, you know, the biggest, baddest show around. Here you got Herb's S10 again. This thing we saw a couple of times. It's pretty cool to see. Nopi and at here at Showfest. This was May 15th and 16th. So I always remember this show because two things. Number one, it's smack dead pretty much in the middle of May. And number two, the love bug. So in Florida, at least, and I'm sure the South in general, but in, May and September is love bug season. And when we went in 2000, we took our friend Russ's van, and man, we had so many love bugs on that thing. I remember him before. It didn't have a nice paint job or anything. It was like that old peeling GM paint. I remember one year he was spraying like cooking oil on the front of the van. I go, what the hell are you doing, Russ? And he said, got to get ready for the love bugs. Sure enough, it kind of worked. Wouldn't recommend doing that on nice paint, but on something like what he had, it kind of worked there. Check it out. Super low, dope wheel, flush with the fender. Here you have sketch pad, mail order nose job. So this is probably the issue that I ended up ordering one of these. And I had it on my truck for a couple of years. I don't know if this was 98. I mean, maybe a year and a half. Maybe not even 2 years, because my truck was bagged, I think, late 98, and then 99 it was bodied, like at the end of the year going into 2000, since we drove it to blood drag. But, yeah. And it was like I was new to all this stuff, so like when I got it, I was like, really? This is all it is? And then you find out, yeah, body guy just goes, oh yeah, you just basically epoxy it, I think, is what we used to the bumper, and it was good to go. I have only a few photos of my truck with that on there. It was pretty clean. But yeah, it seems like many moons ago. Here's Crazy Customs. We saw that ad before. Full color promo ads, $95, 500 copies. I don't know, that's probably that's not for the magazine. Okay, a Civic that sets the standard. So technically, for those scoring at home, follow the leader. This is the first car, Mini Truck inspired car, featured in Mini Truckin Magazine. So pretty crazy here. I think they saw it at Pigeon Forge, which we saw earlier. And if we look over here, get some of the details. And it's Brent Habig from Cincy, Ohio. So this was a standard in our scene for such a long time, just seeing a clean car like this. This thing was really different. For anybody that remembers this feature, I'm going to show you in just a second. Although here we showed you with the car up, and you're thinking, wow, why would they feature that? Well, this is why. I mean, look how good it looks laid out. You can see the Cincinnati, or Ohio, I should say, plate. And then check this out. Guys were trying to run different things, different setups. We've saw all kinds of different things. But, if you think about how clean all that is, pretty cool. Now, I'm not an engineer, but I can tell you there's a lot going on there, and it's damn clean. Anybody remember seeing that car at a show? And again, they took up 2 pages. It wasn't a big deal. I know there was some controversy at the time. And, just like with anything, there's usually controversy. And, I'm sure we talked about it on Straight Source and SportTruck.com. And before you knew it, it was like, oh, another dope car in the magazine. That's awesome. And then they were gone. Not that quick, but you know what I mean? It's like just the way things go sometimes. This thing was freaking bizarre. Mini Truckin Magazine explains the bizarre. I remember seeing this. We've seen some crazy things over the years, and like stuff like this would go viral before it was a thing to go viral. So Mini Laughter, top 5 tools of the month and their real uses. Top 5 places to visit an out-of-state show. Mini Truckin Spy photos. Notable quotables on weddings. What's in the CD changer? Marilyn Manson, Elvis Presley, Snoop Dogg. The game is to be sold, not told. That was on the No Limit. And then boom, the Pro Hopper again. What do you guys think, man? Pretty solid issue. You got Bright Ideas again on the back with Low Glow. Again, issue 84, December 98, kind of rounding out the year. Again, Courtney is the editor at this point. The next issue is pretty awesome. Courtney Hallowell shoots his second group, as I call it, like a group photo. from Texas Heat Wave, so we'll look at that one here in the coming days potentially. But huge shout out to these guys for building such an awesome truck, and Forever Lowz, salute to them. 2 covers, this is one of them. I think that's it. Check us out, OLP, via most podcast apps. Find us, hit follow, hit subscribe. It's totally free. And not like Snoop, the game is to be sold, not told. I guess we're kind of giving it away. Stay on the rise. We out here. Peace.